Hey everyone, welcome back to Let Joe Talk. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Yet again, I have now recorded this in I think 3 months. So I'm pretty embarrassed right now that it took me 3 months to do part 2 of my plan, two-parter to superhero episode counts. But it kind of worked in my favor since that was recorded like part 1 where I talked about like how many episodes should a superhero show have in 2018. And that came out. That came out in August. Well, I recorded that in August. It just came out recently. A lot of stuff happened, but anywho, so it actually worked out in my favor because there was a lot more information, more stuff to talk about as I talk about in this week's episode of Let Joe Talk, which hopefully will be resuming a weekly schedule. I really don't know. We're going to talk about how should the CW as a network handle its Arrowverse slate of shows in a post-Crisis Infinite Earths time. So, if not many of you know, the Arrowverse consists of a shared superhero TV universe on the CW, the network, which includes currently right now Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and currently and more recently Batwoman. And they're all leading up into this big mega crossover event, which hopefully this will be uploaded beforehand. Crisis Infinite Earths, which I'm so flippin' hype about. Can't wait, it's December. And by the time this comes out, it should be next month. I don't know when this is going on. This could be being posting on Halloween Day or the week after that. I really don't know. But we're very soon. The crossover is very soon, and I'm so excited for it. And that's what all fans are looking forward to right now. I believe they just wrapped on the crossover filming. And now we're just waiting for the first footage to show up. But that's still a little bit of ways away. But I can't wait to start seeing footage from that. Everyone's so excited for it. But if not that many people also know this, well, a lot of people should know this if you're a mega fan like me who watches every single DC TV show, all the Arrowverse shows currently. Arrow is reaching its final season. Right now, we're in the final season. There are 10 episodes this season. It will be wrapping in February. So we are very soon close to the end of Arrow. And after Arrow's over, you assume okay, that's one less Arrowverse show to worry about. Well, actually, no. At this time period right now, the CW has announced they are currently developing a Arrow spin-off called Green Arrow and the Canaries, starring Catherine McNamara from the Flash Forwards in Arrow, and then Katie Cassidy and Julia Harvick from present-day Arrow's timeline. And they're teaming them up to do a whole spin-off about them, post-Arrow, and then there's also just recently announced before I had recorded this episode that they are working on a Superman and Lois show for the CW. Now, if you do the math, so that's... By the time this television season's over, we'll have 4 Arrowverse shows. Well, if you want to include Black Lightning, because he is going to be in the crossover, so let's say 5. Plus 2 more if they both get picked up, which this is the CW. They're going to pick them up. That'll be 7 Arrowverse shows on the network by the 2020-2021 television season. That is going to be flipping huge. Practically, if the CW wants to do 7 days a week, they could have a show for every day of the week. Now, obviously, is that going to happen? I highly doubt it. They've spoken before that they don't want to go past having 4 superhero shows on the air at one time, but now, currently, right now, we have 5. So, will they stick with 5? I think they'll stick with 5. It's another fuel to the fire of the age of question of recent years. Are we getting to a saturation point of superheroes, which I will not be talking about in today's episode, maybe in a later one, but the whole point of this is they have a lot of shows. That's the thing. Besides the 5 established shows they will have after Crisis is over, they're still going to possibly have 2 more. And there's another rumor, which again, this one is just a rumor. I don't believe it, but there is a good amount of evidence to say that it's true, that the CW might be picking up Stargirl from DC Universe and to the CW. It's a rumor, but if that's true, there'll be 8 shows on the network, which is a lot compared to everyone else, which has, I think, nothing. So the CW is killing in the DC television game, but the whole question is, how are they going to handle this many shows? That's the question. So please, now my direct focus is to you, the CW executives. Hi, my name is Joseph Prano. I'm about to pitch you a way to how you can get all of your I'm gonna say 7. I'm not gonna put Stargirl because that's just a rumor. I don't want to like. It could be deconfirmed. Stargirl's still having on DC Universe for now. We don't know anything. So I'm just gonna tell you how you can handle your 7 shows, as well as, you know, properly fit things right with what I said last episode about how many episodes should a superhero show have. Now, I've said this before. I do not believe that... I believe a superhero show should be able to tell the story they want to tell in the episodes they seem fit. We are living in a world right now where Marvel Studios is about to embark on their own television show, I don't know what else to call it, their own career in making proper TV shows. We're not counting Marvel TV here. We're about to start that, and supposedly from what we're hearing, they're only going to be 6 episodes, which honestly is like a perfect number. It's more than a movie, because this is a TV show. We're going to get more content than a movie, but these are going to be the quality of the movie. But instead of getting a TV show, you know, length where they're probably going to add filler, Marvel Studios is going to be like, nope, we're not doing filler. But that was last week's episode. This week's episode, I do believe that every season should tell the amount of episodes that it should have, not what the network needs. Now, again, I understand network television is a business. They have to make money. The more episodes you make, the more money you're probably going to make when it comes to syndication and off-airing marketing. I understand that. However, we're living in a world where, I said this again, I think this is the 3rd time I said, we're living in a world that there is so many superhero shows, there's so much competition. Apart from the superhero show, there's just a bunch of great television shows out there in general. And it's just a lot. There's a lot of competition, so obviously everyone wants to make their money, but at least for the CW, as from what I'm noticing in recent years, is that they don't really buck the norm for general television norms, where it's like the highest ratings equal, you're going to get renewed. Where in the CW's case, they do not give a damn about the rating. Dynasty is probably their lowest ranked show, and it still got renewed for another season. So if that can get renewed, anything can get renewed. Before I continue, I'm giving no shit to Dynasty. I'm not. I'm just saying it is the lowest ranking CW show currently. So anyway, moving on. It's imperative in this day and age that the CW knows from the bottom of the heart that they're going to renew their shows. They are so loving and forgiving to every single show that's like, listen, after they hit a certain point, like, you can keep your story going regardless of the rating. We'll pay because they're getting a bunch of money after the season's over. They understand that, so they know how many seasons the show should be getting, but they also are understanding, and more recently with Supernatural, with its final season, they're willing to cut the episodes down. So the whole thing I'm saying to you is that we're gonna have to lose some episodes of the shows. Now again, blasphemy! I want The Flash 22 episodes a week. I want Supergirl 22 episodes a week. I want Batwoman 22 episodes a week. I understand that. But it's imperative, and I said this before last time, not every show is going to be The Flash Season 1. There is probably a very slim chance that any one of these seasons could replicate what The Flash Season 1 did, where it told a complete story in one season, 23 episodes. It made its filler work with its story and still was able to craft an amazing season that we haven't gotten since then. In my opinion, how far we come in the Arrowverse, we have not gotten to that perfect of a season. We have not. So, with that being said, I believe that it would be beneficial if all the shows receive some episode cutback. Now, again, I understand actors have to get paid, but it's also another thing. Actors want to do other projects. When you're doing a television show, and I said this before on an earlier episode of this show, that actors, there's a reason why a good amount of actors move on from long-running series or more popular series after they're done and just go do movies. Because TV shows are such a big commitment. They're such a huge time span. And I understand they're probably having the blast of their time. Everyone, when they're shooting a show, they're probably having a blast with their cast, having amazing memories. I understand that. But you're gonna eventually burn them out. I've heard stories where actors, especially on the CW show, where at the end of the season they just feel so burned out, so tired that, again, I know the writing could be great, the fun should still be there, but they're just tired. It's a lot to do, and especially as they get older, they get wives, they get husbands, they get married, they have kids, they start a family, and they're away from them a lot, and they deserve to be with their family. They're human beings too. And I'm not trying to say that as a negative thing against, television shows. I'm not saying that at all. It's a career choice. But we're now at a point where it's like we're able to now tell stories that aren't always have to be constricted to the standard bloated episode count, especially for superhero shows nowadays. So I think, and another thing that I'm going to use as my evidence/reference to this is that the last season, this current season and then the last season of Supergirl, what they did was that, and then also Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they did pods. Because they even knew that there's absolutely no way we could tell a 22-episode, at least for them, they can't do a 22-episode season, for a singular villain for one singular story. They couldn't do that. So they did pods. They did smaller mini-seasons within the bigger season. They had an overall theme, I understand that, but they were able to get just enough episodes for each pod so it didn't feel like filler, if you know what I mean. They were able to make that work. And last season, Supergirl, I don't even think they had a season-long big bad. They had multiple big villains, but that could have carried its own mini-season, but they were able to make that work into making one larger season. And I'm not sure what they're doing in season 5. It doesn't feel like that right now, but I feel like it could. But I don't know. I could be wrong. And the Flash this season is also doing, they're doing, the first half is going to be on blood work and everything leading up to Crisis. And then part 2 is going to be everything after Crisis with a different villain. So even the Flash is starting to figure out that they cannot stretch out a singular villain, a singular story to 22 episodes. It's just impossible at this point in it. Last season, season 5, Cicada. No offense, I love the cast. That show is fun and, hilarious to watch at times. It was just not a good season. It was, at bare minimum, an okay season. And I know the Flash can be great. So far, I'm enjoying season 6. I'm not giving any knocks against that. It's just, at this point, they need to be aware that, okay, we can start reducing the order. We can do that. So my first thing is that you got to reduce the order. Now, how many episodes is appropriate? I mean, Black Lightning did okay with 16, but even a couple points in Black Lightning, I felt like they were kind of stretching just a little bit. And when people say give it 13 episodes, it seems like a bad thing because, whenever a show gets 13 episodes, it doesn't mean it's doing good, which, not on the slightest at least. I would personally be fine if we do something like this, where obviously we're going to get the crossover. We're going to get another Arrowverse crossover next year. It's just too popular of a trend to stop. I understand that. How do you top Crisis Infinite Earths? It's easy. Just go back to something smaller, more personal, more world building than a huge world ending event. They could do that, and I would be fine. Okay, let's get the Flash. Let's start with the Flash. Let's start with Supergirl. Let's start with Batwoman. Let's start with Black Lightning. Let's start with those 4 shows. And then when we come back for the second half of the season, so right around February, we end those shows and we come back with Black Lightning. I said Black Lightning, sorry. With Green Arrow and the Canaries and Superman and Lois. Because another thing is that with Superman and Lois, I love the actors. I love them so much, but it becomes too much when you have a Supergirl show and a Superman show and Lois too on the same week on the same network. It's fine. I'm not knocking against it. It's just, at least for me, that's a little bit too much of the same characters. It's going to feel too samey. So I'd rather let's get Supergirl more established in the fall to come in, do a shorter 6th season if they do get season 6, and then have Superman and Lois pick up the second half of the season in the spring. And have, because Flash, Batwoman, and Supergirl, they're kind of like a pair together. They're going to be the new Trinity. Once the Green Arrow goes, once Oliver Queen goes away, they're gonna pick things up back where they left off, and that will work for them. So they can have their own mini crossover. Maybe we can even do a second mini crossover with Superman and Lois, Green Arrow and the Canaries, Black Lightning, if they choose to do that. But and Legends of Tomorrow too. it will lessen the clutter a little bit. Like, yes, we can get 7 superhero shows. No, did I do the math right? What? I'm sorry. I'm horrible. I'm horrible at math right now. Yeah, it's 7. They can do that. Like, do 3-4 shows in the fall, 3 shows, or the 4 shows if they decide to do 3 in the spring. It'll work out, in my opinion. Again, I know that, people need to make money. I understand that. But we're at a point right now where it's like, what's more important? Telling a great creative story from start to finish? Or just trying to make a television show, make enough money as you can, and just worry about the rest later? Now, I'm not undermining writers as well. I'm not saying, like, they're doing a shitty job. No, I am not saying that at all. I just think maybe it'd be beneficial for them to say, hey, you don't have to do a 22-episode season. If you want to tell a 13-episode season, you want to tell a 16-episode season, you can do that. Cut down the filler, give fans one more, make each episode matter. Because the more filler episodes you get, the more episodes you get that are just memory fragments. I don't remember half of season 5 of The Flash. And I hate to be shitting on season 5 of The Flash, or The Flash in general. It's just that season was like, in more recent history, in my recent memory, was the worst. And when I say worst, I mean my least favorite. I'm just like, everyone just says worst nowadays, so I'm like, sorry about that. Anywho, that's overall, my whole message is that reduce the episode order, constrict these shows into like segments within the TV schedule. Don't do bigger crossovers. Do more tighter personal crossover. We can have a bigger crossover at some point later in the future, but until then, I feel like this could work because like the CW, very forgiving on its show. It gives the fans a lot. It gives great actors, great people an opportunity to work. This can all work in the end, and it'll satisfy everyone. But I'm going to leave it at that. Anywho, guys, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Let Joe Talk. If you were unaware of this, this is Joe from Action X. Please like, favorite, share, subscribe if you want to. I will hopefully be back next week with another episode. But until then, peace out.